Yes, indeed. Good night, everybody. It's your boy Retro. We're going to talk about some stuff on tonight. Keep it locked and don't you dare touch that dial.
So you're a philosopher? Yes, yes, yes.
Good evening, good morning, good night, good day. It's your boy Retro. Thank you for pressing play.
Very deeply.
Come on, somebody lift up a shout to the Lord.
So you're a philosopher? Yes, 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 yes. I think very deeply.
Shall not start up the mic then. We are up the mic them now. Shall not start up the mic then. We are gonna crank up the mic them now.
Just for a little retro philosophy. It's your boy here, and we got a special guest with us on tonight. We're honored to have esteemed author Elton Penn. He is also a pastor in the California area. We're going to hear from him momentarily. So we want you to sit back, take note of the telephone number. Let me go ahead and put it on the screen because we definitely got a topic that we want everybody, including Lottie Dottie, to call in and just, jump on in. I do believe that this is a topic that, a lot of people potentially struggle with. And when we talk about church folk, and I don't even think we got to just isolate it to church folk, but people struggle with it. They don't know how to approach it. And so tonight we're going to dive in. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for pastor and author Elton Penn. Bada boom, bada bang. Good night, sir.
Yes,
How
sir.
you doing?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. How are you?
Man, we're doing good. We're doing well, man. We're glad to have you on tonight. I
Glad to be
love
here.
to see our people doing great things. And my father used to always tell me as a kid, whatever you put your mind to do, you can do it.
Yes, sir.
And I think so often we get stuck and we stop because we get stuck. So I want to commend you for your accomplishments. And so without any further ado, let's talk a little bit about this book here, how did it come about and what you got working with.
I just want to say, man, it's a blessing to be here, man. It's a great opportunity. I know this is, whether you know it or not, this is actually going to be my first interview,
Okay.
that I've done for the release. So I count it all, blessings, man, to be in your presence. Thanking for the connection with
Man,
Brother
we're
Money.
honored to have you, man. We're honored to
Yeah.
have you, and definitely trust that it won't be the last time. We're actually going to be in your area come December, so hopefully
Yes,
we
sir.
can get together and break some bread.
It sounds right, man. It sounds right to me. And so, again, I want to thank God again for the opportunity. So the book, man, Intimacy Beyond the Bedroom is it's going to be we're starting our pre-sale on October 22nd. It'll
Okay.
be released on November 26th. And so the book, the premise, or even its foundation, its genesis, it really comes from a place of brokenness. To be honest, I can't even fake it. A
You
lot
still
of
there, man? I
times,
think we
we
might have a little bit of technical difficulties there.
okay. Can you
Okay,
hear
I can
me?
hear you. Yes, sir, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so it came from a place of brokenness. I wish I can say I was on top when I started writing it, and that wasn't my story. This came as I was walking through, and my ex-wife and we were going through a divorce, and laying in the bed, with some sleepless nights, and you know,
Mhm.
um, really fighting with what to do, because divorce in the church's eyesight, that sin, being able to, walk through that and be a pastor and having a
Man,
family and
come
all
on
that.
now. They come down
This,
hard on you.
man, listen here, come down hard. They still on me.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
still
yeah,
they still
yeah.
coming for me. But
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
so your first marriage didn't work. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this: how old were you when you got married?
So I was 26 when I got married. I was
Okay,
26 when I got married.
all
Hmm.
right. And how
Yeah.
long were you married before you realized that things wasn't gonna work out?
10 years,
10
10 years,
years. Okay,
10
okay.
years. And so
That's outstanding.
yeah, I want to be honest with that question because I think before it ended, that it's kind of running its course. Well, I don't want
Yeah.
to speak to as if I know anybody's history, but so we kind of knew some signs. And so we were trying to work through it and keep the faith, go through counseling, all that, have the
Hmm.
prayer warriors pray over you, the elders, speaking life into you. And, some people, saying that, it's not right. And, stay in it. This is what marriage is. Marriage is about struggle,
Hmm.
all those things that was spoken into my life. And one night, man, I'm sitting in bed and my ex-wife is asleep and I'm sitting in bed and just thinking, like, is this really marriage? Is this
Hmm.
really marriage to where, we have a California king and she's way on the east side and I'm way on the west side. And and you know how when you're not really talking, you put that border right in the middle, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
somebody to
yeah,
cross that border,
yeah.
without their without that passport, and
Right.
just sitting up one night, I was preparing a sermon, to be
Hmm.
honest. And I sermon stopped, tears rolled, and it clicked. It was like, uh, I don't want to spend the rest of my life in a bed in
Hmm.
which the person and I are not in covenant agreement.
Right,
You know,
right, right,
yeah, I
right,
know that
right.
may sound rough to some people. They may not like it, but that is the truth, brother.
We were talking Sunday about the woman who was taken in the very act of adultery.
Mm.
They brought her before Jesus, and they were, wanted to pretty much to see what Jesus was going to say. They was like, look, based on the law, she's supposed to be stoned.
Yes, sir.
And we already know the story, right? So he begins to write down on stoops down, begin to write. Long story short, when he comes back up, he says, "Woman, where are your accusers?"
That's good.
And so, when it comes to this thing called marriage and divorce. Now, I don't know. We're going to ask you here in just a minute, but I grew up old school apostolic. You
Come on,
know,
man.
and when I tell you, when they started talking about that marriage and divorce, when my wife and I got ready to get married, man,
Yes,
they
sir.
drilled it, they drilled it, they drilled it, until the end, until the
Come
end,
on, sir. Come
And
on.
so, I'm not here to condemn anybody because their marriage didn't work.
Correct.
I believe that that marriage is honorable. I believe that it can work. But the reality and the sad reality is some of us are not set up to be successful in our marriages. So, with
That's
that said and done, let me ask you this. In retrospect, do you think there was things that could have been done to save your marriage?
to be very honest with you. I believe that if two people are committed,
Hmm.
I believe if two people put forth the effort, marriage can work.
Hmm.
It can work. I believe there are times and there are situations where we begin to connect with individuals for other reasons than God
Come
ordaining
on
that
now.
thing,
Come on now.
right? So I know people want to put God on it, they want to
Hmm.
put that stamp on it, and I believe that there's some things, some decisions we make that we force God's hand
Hmm.
on, right?
Hmm.
So again, he never blessed it, but we go into it anyway, right? Like he never mapped that out for you, but you go into it anyway.
Right.
And it's not like my ex-wife is a curse to me. That's not it at all.
Well,
But
that's good.
if two people are not aligned, if they're not going in the same direction, again, if they're not willing to even humble themselves and be vulnerable with each other, there's no way it's going to work. And so
Hmm.
a lot of what I did, and I'm not here to speak against her. A lot of
Right.
what I did was to prove to people I can be married versus being in the marriage because I loved her unconditionally.
Mm, okay. So tell me a little bit about your church upbringing, your church background.
Yeah, man. So raised in the church that I actually pastor now. It's East 105th Street Christian Church. I moved away because of my family, as you know. We were talking a little bit earlier, but went through the foster care system. Went to a Baptist church with my grandfather. grandfather, and was raised. Actually went there to the Baptist church, only to come back. Not even to 105th where I was now. I went to, Greater Bethany. It was at the time, as a child, we started at Greater Bethany. I was all over the place. So I've been Baptist, Christian.
Yeah.
I haven't tried Catholicism. I'll be honest with you, but and so right now it's still Christian. That's the
Amen.
upbringing.
Amen. So do you feel as though the church leadership could have helped you and with your situation?
Yes and no, and let me say why. The reason I believe yes is that because the church should be a hospital where people can come to, right,
Mhm.
and get what they need in order to lead or to live, a very blessed life. Unfortunately, the church, if they're messed up, we say it all the time. I don't know if we necessarily believe it, but hurt people hurt other people.
Yes, sir. Hurt
Likewise,
people
messed
hurt.
up people
Yeah,
mess up
yeah,
other people.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
there's no way you can help me in my marriage if you're faking with yours.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I had a lot of people around me who was telling me to stay married because they were married 20, 30 years, but unhappy and living in separate rooms.
Hmm.
Is that and again, we're not here to beat anybody up. I'm not here to cast stones on anybody else, but there were people. I did have Christian counseling. I did get secular counseling, but what we found was, again, her neither her nor we were not on the same page. She wanted it. She wanted the relationship, and I wanted the relationship as far as family. But the saying is true. Sometimes we want our cake and eat it too. I wanted to be able to have fun with my friends and play in the streets, but come back to a family when it was time for Thanksgiving. You hear
Hmm.
me?
Yeah,
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 yeah. You want
yeah.
to go to church to look the part. We play that role real good. On
Yes, sir.
Sunday morning, let it be Bible study. We'll pull up together, go to
Yeah.
church together. Everybody, oh, that family look good. And
Hmm.
because people, thought that there was a healthy family, I began to live out that false pretense. Like, yeah, we are healthy, we are blessed.
Hmm.
But the truth is, my ex-wife was miserable,
Yeah.
and that was at the fault of me. I'm not gonna blame her.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and do that. So this revelation was not something that I'm walking in because I'm the great Elton Penn. No, no, no,
Hmm.
no, man.
Hmm.
I pray that my mistakes will help somebody else, man. I'm here as a light, to be able to shed some light on somebody's circumstance that, what, it doesn't have to end like that. It doesn't have to be like that, but you have to put forth effort.
So 10 years, and then it comes to a close. Was it a bitter split? How was it how was it?
Oh man, this is retro. I love the questions, man. No, and again, transparency. We
Hmm.
were sitting on the couch talking. This was after her and I haven't gone through many situations, and we said we were going to talk one week. You know how that goes in marriage, and you pass by each other. You'll say good morning. You'll say hi. What's for dinner? You do
Hmm.
all those little things, but you're really not in conversation with each other. And then there was one day I remember after church, we just sat down on the couch and we talked. We talked it out, like what's not working, what's happening, why is it
Hmm.
not working. And in the book, and it's just some things, some gems. I hope people go and grab. You got to get this book. You
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
get
yeah.
this book. It was, I believe, at the time, it was two adults talking who had no, who knew with all the counseling, with all the prayers, with everything else that we had ran our course. After that, both of us sat down and we finally came to the decision that it's not working. Right?
Hmm.
It's not working. Once we found out that and admitted our truth, it was our truth to own.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times what we do is we try to walk in other people's truth,
Come on
right?
now.
Like I don't want people. I didn't want to live any longer, and she didn't want to live any longer where we were going to church and we were the first family, but the last people to be happy. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm the first person to open the church doors, and she at home making dinner, and that didn't matter to me because I wanted to save everybody else, but couldn't save my own.
So 10 years married.
Yes, sir.
At what point did you start pastoring?
I started pastoring. Um, oh wow, I think it had to be about 5 years into the marriage, right?
Okay, so
5 years
married
into.
5 years and then you start pastoring.
Correct, correct.
Did pastoring add any additional strain to your relationship or marriage?
Absolutely, man.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Man, listen. hence the title "Intimacy Beyond the Bedroom."
Okay. All right.
If there is no agreement in the marriage, if there's no unity in the marriage, if we can't uphold covenant between the two of us, there were a lot of things and a lot of people that we allow to get in the marriage and have say so in the marriage, right? So much so that, as I said before, I was worried about going to a meeting versus worried about getting home for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were last. You know,
Wow.
they were last. I had board meetings to attend. I had to make sure that the church was going to keep going. I had to make sure that I was the armor bearer for my pastor. I had to make sure, you know, I was a part of the general board. I was doing all these other things, and putting the family, you know, last. That was
Mm-hmm.
my priority, because that's the thing, believe it or not, that people don't want to admit, that I'm going to highlight even in the book, that I did all those other things to give the pretense that everything was perfect, that everything was fine, that I
Wow.
was in charge, when the truth is I was falling apart.
And you know, that's the part that hurts me, because you can be in ministry and you can be serving
Come on,
leadership,
Retro.
and you can be serving them diligently,
Yes, sir.
faithfully, and sometimes unhealthily, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
and you're helping to make sure that their stuff is good, making sure their grass is cut, they snow is shoveled. Well, y'all in Cali, so you ain't got no snow. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir.
You doing all this and that. And my question is, how is it that they cannot see that you are actually struggling, or that you are falling apart at the seams? You know, when the disciples came back after Jesus sent them out, he told them, "Come ye apart." He realized that, you know, they had been working in the
Yeah.
vineyard, and it
Yeah.
was now time for them to take a break. You know,
Absolutely.
and so, talk to me, Elton, about how important balance is in ministry, in church, and in our relationships.
Yeah. I mean, looking back at that now, like, balance is, when I say so important, so important from the standpoint that they're not going to tell you to take a break.
Come on now.
You have to take a break. They're not going to tell you to go home.
Right.
You have to go home. You
Hmm.
know, they're not going to tell you that you're doing too much. Be-
However, when your stuff fall apart,
Sir, come
they're
on
gonna get
here.
somebody else to
Come
replace you
on.
and
Come
say,
on.
you know, the devil got in him. He let the devil use him. This, that,
Come
and the
on.
other.
Come
And
on.
real quickly, I want to get into the title of this book. Um, uh, but give us a little bit of advice, how one could guard their marriage against some of these things that we're talking about. Because now, how long have you been married?
Now I've been married 2 years.
Okay, and do you? Well, it is what it is.
We
How
got
are things going?
we got to go, man. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great. You know, because the thing is, like, you have to put the first things first.
Okay.
My family doesn't come after the church, right?
Okay.
They don't. My first ministry is to the home.
Come on now.
My,
That's the
my
word right there.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's just to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
That's the word.
yeah, and when you know, when it's not, when people are not put in the proper place, or, you know, when we put the church above our families, we'll find ourselves at church when the kids need to be fed,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll find ourselves, you know, at choir rehearsal when we should be helping our kids with homework,
Mm-hmm.
who are failing in class, right?
Right.
And so it's a very difficult thing for us to have to admit that sometimes, if our church priorities are not right, we'll end up missing out on wonderful moments. Like today, man, I was able to take, you know, my 1 year old to swim lessons. You know what I mean?
Nice.
For,
Nice.
me, for her to look over out the water and start kicking because she saw me. You know, I remember there were times when I would tell, you know, my ex, hey, you know what, you got to take her, because again, I got to get back to the church because
Yeah.
somebody is
Yeah.
in the hospital, and I
Yeah.
got to go to go pray for them in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, one of the nuggets, for everybody to take away is, like, if you don't value what you have, other people won't value it.
You got that right. You
Man,
got
that's
that
just
right.
it. If you don't esteem what you have highly, people won't.
Mm-hmm.
They'll want you to sing at a service before they want you to go home and make sure your husband has dinner.
Right.
Before they want you to go home and make sure that your son and your daughter is making sure that they're ready for the next day.
Man,
That's
look at
that's just
here.
where we at, Retro. Let's have real talk, man.
Let's have some real talk, man. And if we don't learn to cherish our families, because I believe it was Moses, right? His father-in-law says, "Hold on, wait a minute. What is Moses doing, sending, you know, his wife back here?" You know, he said, "Oh, hold on, let me go up here and check this stuff out."
Come on,
You
man.
know, and he gets up there and he realizes that Moses is doing too much.
Come
He
on,
doing
man.
too much, you know.
Come on.
And so we need these Jethros in our lives, man, that can kind of help spit a little wisdom and a little insight. And so my wife is watching with us on tonight, and she quoted when you said earlier, "falling apart while leading." Talk about that real quick.
She said, "What? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Say it again."
Falling apart while leading.
Yeah, yeah, a lot, man. It's funny you talking about retro, man. I'm enjoying this so much because one of my mentors, what he said to me is that sometimes we have to be careful in leadership not to bleed on people,
Come on now. Come on
right?
now.
Because a lot of times we have to walk in this thing alone. We sometimes open up to people we should be covering,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I was in leadership, and I'll be honest with you, because I felt as though I wasn't respected in my home, but the church respected me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt like. So again, what I did, I tried to keep this image that Minister Penn is to be respected, because if he don't come, church ain't gonna change. The Holy Ghost ain't gonna move. It ain't gonna shift if he ain't up, right?
Yeah.
Until time came to where it was time for me to sing. And when I tell you I hit every wrong note possible,
Yeah.
when I tell you preaching, the words wouldn't even come out right,
Wow.
because it's almost like God is like, I'm going to humble you.
Yeah.
Like, and it's true. Like, if I be lifted up, I'm a draw. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing, Sir Penn,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so I was doing all those things. I was going to meetings. I was making sure the church gate was open. And the whole time, man, as I was opening that gate, I was closing another one on my relationship.
My goodness. My goodness. We've got a few viewers watching tonight. Sister Shaquise, Cheryl, she said, "This is good. This is good." Nelson Ortiz, he's watching as well from YouTube. God's blessing to you and your families, brothers. God bless you as well, Nelson. We love you,
Much
brother, with the
blessing.
love of God, man.
Yeah.
And so God has a way. And I believe that the scripture is correct when it says he sends his warning before he sends his judgment.
Yes, sir.
And the question is, how many times are we disregarding the warning? And
Mm.
then all of a sudden we find out that he's got us laid down, or, you know, if we ain't careful, laid out,
Come on, come on.
you know?
And it's just it's real talk, to be honest with you, because I would bet money, retro, that
Hmm.
people, we don't stop until we're tired.
Hmm.
We
Right.
really don't stop until we're exhausted, man.
Exactly.
We don't stop until we give it our all.
Hmm.
But if the word of God be true, and again, I'm not even on here to preach, but if the word of
Come
God
on
be
now.
true, 3 John 1:2, like, beloved, above all, that you will prosper and be in good health,
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
even as your soul. So let's
Even
we
as your
don't we
soul.
got the soul, but let's go back to being in good health. Like,
Yes.
some of us are stressed out, man. Some of us are trying to make it work and trying to make it to church on time after
Yep.
having a long day going to work, only to be told, like, y'all late. What happened? Why you late? I'm here to tell you, man, like, I'm taking it very personally that, man, I have to take time for myself. I have to take time for my family. Again, the word is going to be preached. It's not going
Hmm.
to return void.
It's not.
It's
It's
going
not.
to accomplish what it was sent out to do. But believe me, there's another preacher that can preach the word, right?
Absolutely.
But there's not another man that can take care of my household.
Come on now. That's your responsibility.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
man, I tell you, marriage is a beautiful thing. We go to church and we speak in tongues, but we can't take that same mouth, lips, and tongue and tell our wife that she's beautiful. Tell our husband that he's a godsend, or
That's good,
whatever. You know
man.
what I'm saying?
That's
And
good.
so let's talk about intimacy. Let's talk about
Yes, sir.
intimacy real quick here.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
while we're gearing up for that, JJ Aguilar, he says too many in the body want to win the. Oh, come on, JJ. JJ be preaching heavy, man. He says too many in the body want to win the world, but we can't live it at home,
Mm,
And I'm gonna be honest with you,
that
man.
was, come
Man,
on.
look at here, man.
Come
I
on,
don't know
JJ.
how it happened, because if me
Oh,
and me and wifey, if something ain't going right, man, look here, man. We gonna get to church and we just gonna have a all out prayer meeting or something. Because I ain't about to try to preach over that mess. You understand
come
what I'm
on,
saying?
man. Absolutely.
And but we ain't got no sense, man. But go ahead and talk about intimacy. So the name of the book is Intimacy Beyond the Bedroom.
Yes, sir.
Talk
Yes,
to me.
sir.
Talk to me.
Yes, sir. Man, we've done a lot, man. And when I say it's been 6 years, over 6 years in the making, man, for this book, because as I said, again, it's birth. It birthed in pain, right? It birthed while I was
Mm,
in the bed.
wow.
Just, let's be honest. Like, some people are talking about, yeah, you know what, I can't wait to, and again, we're gonna be real because the church won't let us talk about it, but we on your broadcast,
Man,
so I'm
come on now,
clear.
man. Yeah, we
Listen
don't
here,
play no
yeah,
games up in here.
yeah, you know what I mean. So the
Yeah.
thing is, like, we talk so much about loving our wives, and I'm in the bed with my ex-wife, and
Mhm.
while I'm in the bed with her, I still don't want to touch her. While I'm in the bed with her, I still don't want to talk to her. I
Now,
still don't want her
let me
touching
pump
me.
the brakes there real quick, man.
Do it.
Now you was how old when you married her?
26.
26, and she was how old?
Yeah, so she was 27.
So she was 27. Now, I take it the day you married her, she was beautiful,
Yes, sir.
and I take it by now she ain't get ugly. You know,
Yes, sir.
so how does one get to the point where the one he couldn't wait to see come down the aisle no longer wants to touch? How does that happen?
If people would be honest, it's
Mhm.
something internal in us.
Come on now.
We just have to be honest. Like that,
Hmm.
it's not something that they did. It starts with us, right?
Hmm.
So even I don't care what anyone says. I'm talking about my experience.
Right,
She didn't become ugly to me.
right, right,
You know what I mean? Like let's just be honest.
right.
But what happened was, we start to make decisions based on like feelings. We start to do things because again it looked cute. She looked good, right?
Hmm.
We need to be connected because they said we look good together. Oh
Right.
man, she got body, so that got to be mine. That's
Hmm.
what God
Hmm.
got for me.
Hmm.
Things like that. Oh, she cooks, she cleans. It's things like that, right? That we attach ourselves to, only to find out that after all those things, let's say if she don't cook, you still want her. Let's say if she don't clean, you still want
Hmm.
her.
Hmm.
Let's say if the body changes, you still
Right.
want
Yeah.
her. And the premise of this book, when we talk about intimacy, is something greater than the physical. It's not about you kissing me. It's not about you what you do with me in the bed. It's not that. I want you to come out of the bed and still me fall in love with you. Like, I want when you walk in for me to look at you. I want us to have some goals in place that says we're aligning ourselves and we're chasing after these things, man. So when we speak intimacy, we're talking about being able to look at each other from across the room, right?
Okay.
We're talking about you being at work, and at the end of the day, you may send a text message just to say hello, thinking about you, hoping you have a good day. It's that prayer that you may send, right?
Hmm.
It's that person to be able to affirm them without having to say a whole lot, right?
Yeah.
It's being able to uplift them or to even know when they're having a bad day, a good day, when they need to back up, when they need to come forward. I think we can do a better job of doing some more investigation. I think when we get with people, we stop investigating because I got them now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but
Okay.
but
So
but
we
go ahead.
get them and we got them, and
Yes,
so
sir.
now we stop investigating.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's the investigation? You
Yeah.
said we stopped investigating. Talk to me.
Because people grow, they
Hmm.
change, they evolve. Like how we
Absolutely.
started off is not where we'll be years from now,
And
right?
you've got to accept that and allow room for that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You,
sir.
you definitely do.
Yeah, because the problem is like a lot of times is that when one person stops growing, the relationship will stop growing, right? And so when we stop paying attention to those things, when we stop paying attention to that, okay, you know what? Maybe she used to cook 5 days a week, but now
Hmm.
it's three. What changed? Maybe her load is much heavier than it used to be, right?
Okay. Okay.
He used to come home and be able to rub my feet, but now he wants to come home and just relax and everything to be silent. So there's something else going on the inside, and we have to do our job to investigate. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking to every single person. I don't care if you're married, if you're with somebody. I think it's worth understanding when a change is about to happen or when a change has occurred for you to stop and say, wait a minute, something has changed. But versus taking the defense as if it's something being done to you, we have to admit that sometimes that person is not who they were when I first married them. And
Okay.
that's the truth. That's the truth. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Let's
that's real deal. That's real deal
yes,
because we grow,
yes,
and
sir.
and as we grow, things change. Not only appearance, but
Come on.
even desires, requirements. So much stuff changes. My wife and I, we've been married 25 years.
Blessings, man.
Yeah,
Blessings.
thank you, sir. 25 years. And we got the empty nest going on. The kids is all out. They grown. They doing their own thing. And my wife used to always say, "What you gonna do when the kids grow up?"
Mm,
And it
mm.
seemed like that was never gonna come.
Yes,
And
sir.
but the reality is, it did have an effect on our relationship. I'm not gonna say negatively,
Come on.
But we had to learn to adjust. And if truth be told, she's watching tonight. We're still adjusting. We're
Come
still
on, man.
adjusting. You know.
Come on, Retro. Let's be honest.
So it's real talk, man. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you take it. I've learned something, and it was straight from God. I kid you not. My wife and I had an argument shortly after being married, and we wasn't seeing eye to eye on this topic or whatever.
Okay.
And you know, my wife, she got a little spicy, you know, and I ain't like that, you know. And so she went into the bedroom, and I'm sitting in the living room, and I'm pouting. She was probably in there pouting. And it was like God himself literally came in there, sat down on the couch next to me. I ain't trying to be deep, but I'm telling you the God's honest truth.
Let's do it.
And he said, you can be upset with what she said, but don't get it twisted with who she is.
Ooh,
That's
come on, man.
your wife.
Come on, man.
You understand
Come
what I'm
on.
saying? And then we want to talk about I'm the head of the house. Okay, you are, dude. You are. And the woman is the weaker vessel. Yeah, she is. But that word weaker is not so much talking about cheap or, you know, but delicate, you know,
man.
And she should be handled as such, you know.
Absolutely.
And so that blessed me. I want to ask you, because here you are into year number 2. What was it, or is there anything you were able to bring out of the previous marriage into the new one in terms of lessons learned, what to do, what not to do, what to watch out for, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I had to learn, man, and I learned it in between my previous marriage and this one, was I had to learn me. That's the premise of this book. What I failed to do, and what I think some people fail to do, is that they move from one relationship to another relationship, right? Once that ends, I'm gonna go right into another one. So I spent much time with me, you know, and those that know me, those that have seen me out, because we're not gonna lie about it, man. I was listening to live music, I was going out, I was drinking, I was doing everything to avoid having to deal with me. The first thing I did, even before I got with her, because again, she was ready, set, go when we first met. She probably will tune in a minute, man. So she'll, you know, act like she was played it real cool. But when we got together, she was like, okay, let's get married. I'm like, wait.
This is your new wife?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
like, wait, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Because I knew the importance of getting to know somebody, right? I knew the importance, and I'm not saying she didn't. She was also married for 10 years previously, you know. But I think for me, what prepared me for this one is to be able to say, hey, you know what? Number one, I'm not always right. I've got some issues. There's some things going on in me. You're going to know my truth. There are times, man, you're going to find it in this book where I talked about the subject of being able to simply hold hands. You know, Retro, there's some men that grab their woman hand in a minute. You know, me, I'm like 2 feet, no pressure. Everybody stay cool. We can walk side by side and be okay. You know, that's me. Not because I don't like you, but I want to be able to move my hands, clap them, do whatever I want to do my way. But relationship says that there are times when you have to think that you consider the other person. And considering her, guess what? I'm not going to put my hand in my pocket to avoid holding your hand. Now I'm going to walk with my hand out and grab your hand first.
Yeah,
just so
absolutely.
you know. You know what I mean? That's when we talk about intimacy. That's what it is. It's me understanding me before I understand you. I can't begin to accept your truth if I haven't accepted mine, right? We can't even begin to grow until I acknowledge really who I am and what's really going on the inside of me. You know, and I just got to say this before we move on. I remember, man, I had such a big issue. I had such a big issue with looking people in their eye, right? And women in particular, right? Because for me, I felt like when I looked a person in their eye, I felt as if they were like sizing me up and they could see through me, right? Now I have a wife who looks at me all the time, all the time. Now, instead of turning, I'll look at her, you know, we'll look at each other and we're able to share a moment and just look at each other. Because again, before, it was more insecurity. Right now, I understand that she wants to validate that I see her and she sees me. It's bigger than just a look, right? And so that's when we talk about intimacy. That's what it has to happen. It has to go before anything physical. It has to be before you even touch her. She should know what you're thinking. You know, before you go to do anything, right? And we talk about, you know, on a holiday or birthdays, buying a woman flowers so she can understand how much you love her before the flowers even get there, sir.
Yeah, come on now.
Before she even sees the flower, she shouldn't have to wonder, is she getting something? Right. She shouldn't even have to wonder, right? More importantly, again, she should have something outside of a holiday, right? Man, because when we're trying to grow in the area of intimacy, it's understanding our partner, it's understanding me, and if that's that person's love language, it's about growing with them and not apart from them.
All right, couple things I want to touch up. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, the hotline is open. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen there, 980-222-4492. Hit us up. We want to hear your we want to hear your comments and see what you got to say about this topic here. Let's see here. My wife, let's see, she says sometimes it was all a front from the beginning.
Your wife ain't wrong.
No, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Now check it out, man. I'm gonna be transparent for a moment because I remember when I got into the church, I was about 18 years old. And when I tell you I had lived a full life prior to that 18th birthday, I did, right? And so now all of a sudden, the Lord done had his way with me. I'm saved and everything, and everything that told me I was a man was now incorrect.
Come on, man.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Now, I had been dating my wife all through high school, right? My let's see, her first year of high school, my second year of high school, we met. We were both 15, and we have been dating all through high school. And so now we sitting here and we're talking about, marriage now, because now we in the church, right?
Yes, sir.
And, two folks get saved. That's what you're supposed to do because you don't want your little flesh to burn. And,
come on, talk about it, brother.
We had to go before God, even though I had been with this woman for all these years and I loved her tremendously. I understood that, being saved and not saved, the chemistry was completely different, Thank God it was part of his will, and we got married, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so we thank God for that. But sometimes we get in the church and we get positions, we get accolades, this, that, and the other, but yet we still haven't discovered who we are.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, Retro, and again, I didn't mean to cut you off here.
Fine.
One of the things that one of the value statements of intimacy beyond the bedroom that I want people to walk away with, if they had to get anything from me, man, is I want people to understand the value of the past. I want them to understand the power they have in the present and the keys they possess to unlock opportunities in the future.
Come on, Doc. Give it to me one more time.
Let's do it again. So I want people to, it's okay. I want them to understand the value of the past, right? What they've been through is valuable.
Come on now.
Right. We got to do that. I want them to understand the power they have in the present, because if you don't like it, change it.
Come on now.
And I want them to understand the keys they possess to be able to unlock opportunities for the future. Right
now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's powerful. That's powerful. But not only do you now have keys to unlock possibilities in this, that, and the other for yourself, but for your children, for other generations, for your neighbors. And so that's another nugget right there that we've got to understand, And sometimes, and this is, look here, we got to show my wife and I and what's love got to do with it. But when I tell you, whenever you're doing something for God, when you're doing something for the Lord, the devil gonna come after you. He's going to come after your stuff. And so my point is, sometimes we've got to realize that it wasn't so much that, what we did wrong or what we can't make it through, but what God is trying to work through us to be a blessing to somebody else.
Yes,
because, Job didn't have nothing to do with the persecution that was coming at him. He was a perfect and upright man.
Come on, man.
And it was Jesus that said, "Hast thou considered my servant Job?" So with all that said and done, I want someone who's listening to be mindful as you are pressed with obstacles that come against your marriage, your relationship, your family, whatever it may be. Because sometimes it's not because your stuff is jacked up, but because there's so much power in what you have.
Absolutely, man. So even, again, going back to those keys that we talked about, unlocked, right? And I want to, unlocked is one part of it, but I want to talk about those keys also that lock doors that, right? There's some doors, man, that we walked out of that should be left as an exit and not an entrance.
Talk about it.
Right? Because I think there's sometimes when we get to a place where we feel like, okay, you know what? I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of being by myself. We start to go back and unlock doors that God has already brought us out of, right? That God has already released.
My goodness, you're walking heavy now, Doc.
We just might as well talk real, right? And the goal of these keys is not just for you to unlock some stuff, but to make sure stuff stay locked, right? It's that authority that he's giving you. Now, I'm just telling you, there's some people, you'll never have to feel what you felt in the past if you keep that door locked. You'll never have to go through that again if you keep that door locked, right?
So, in other words, don't be like that dog that returned to his vomit.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Them locks work both ways.
Let's be real, man. Like, I think that if I can tell that man, that woman, whoever you are, you spend this valuable time by yourself, with yourself, before you let another Negro in your life, right? That's going to mess you up. That's going to mess it up for you and your kids. I think we have to do a better job at the church. I think we have to do a better job with people having real conversations, right? Because it's one thing for us to want them to be married, but if they're not happy, what did the church do? Right. We're pushing marriage at people. I want to push wholeness.
Right.
Talk to me. Let's do that. I want you to be whole. And as you're whole, if you're meant to walk in this thing until you're in your 30s, until you're in your 40s, until you're in your 50s, and then you connect with somebody, I'd rather you do that than for us to have to revisit, now counsel you through some stuff that we put you in. Let's be real.
Yep. Let's be real about it.
Let's be real.
And so many times, people think, okay, well, we did this, and so now we got to do this. Look here, that ain't always the case, man.
Come on, man.
That ain't always the case. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what to do in your situation. I ain't your pastor, this, that, or the other. But sometimes you just need to sit down and say, Lord, forgive me. I have sinned, but I'm not gonna do a greater sin and marry somebody that I know doggone well I'm not ready to marry, or maybe they're not ready to marry me. And there was another thing I was going to go into, but I'm gonna stop right there.
I don't know. But
go ahead, Doc.
No, I was just gonna say, like, man, like a lot of, man, what I've been through, and again, this is all of this stuff is in the book, man. I had to deal with my immaturity. It's all of my immaturity, and I intentionally rebelled against growth. People don't want to talk about that.
Look, okay, so how does that work? What does that look like? You rebelled against growth.
Yeah, so that means that, again, sometimes we know what to do, we just don't do it.
Okay,
right?
Why don't we do it?
We know the right thing to do because we want what we want. I wanted the fun. I didn't want the responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to be able to kick it. I wanted to be able to continue drinking. I wanted to continue to go out. I didn't want to have to make sure the girls were taken care of and going to school and do homework and make sure my wife was loved and all this other stuff. That's not it. I wanted her to attend to all my needs. I didn't listen here. You come after me, I'll attend to everybody else after I figure out what's going on with me. So a lot of times, man, and that's most of us in here, right? A lot of times we'll end up dating somebody, there's no future. There's none. Right, you guys are not, you're not compatible.
He may have a Lexus though.
Say it again.
He got a Lexus though.
Oh man, listen here. Great. Drive the car, buckle your seatbelt, but then get back out and go home.
Oh man, he had some Air Force Ones though, man. A little band, a little rubber band in his pocket.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, go get you some Air Force Ones. Y'all can.
There you go.
That'll be okay. But a lot of times, man, we know what we should do. We know what we shouldn't do. The method is, man, again, being able to work out that, right? Even the Bible talks about like working at your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? We got to make sure that you're doing your part. And a lot of times we can't blame other people for stuff we put ourselves in.
Okay, I got to stop you right there because Cross Soldiers out of New Jersey, they just dropped a bomb on us.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so you will never, and in the words of Chris Rock, ever know how to be a man until you know the man. Talk to me there, man, because we say we love our wives, but if we don't love Christ, how can we love our wives properly?
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man. I'll be honest with you. It's unfortunate that a lot of us, we learn the wrong thing to do from the wrong people. A lot of us, and I'm so grateful, man, for God's love towards me, because again, as much as we want to ignore the fact, but in order to really appreciate what God has done for us, it's when we have to do it ourselves, right? It's when I have to forgive somebody,
right,
and they don't even know what they did, right? It's when I have to love somebody who it hurts me to love, right? It's like that. That's what I'm talking about. So even understanding the power of being a man, it's bigger than just, as I said, man. And I'm gonna keep on referring to this. Y'all got to get the book.
Yeah,
y'all gonna have to get this book.
Are any of your people on?
Man, I think I got some people on. Let me see.
Have them put your website wherever they can go to get the book. Go ahead and put that up.
Let's do it. I got Shay on the line. Shay, let's put the book up if we can. I got some people on here, man. That'll be able to highlight that.
Let me see if I can. Let's see here. Bada boom, boom, bang. So the book release is going to be on the 22nd of this month.
The 22nd of this month, man. I
22nd of this
cannot
month.
wait. You'll be able to go to our website, our landing page. And again, it'll be in the chat if you guys are there. We're going to put that up for you right now. So
Oh,
and purchase the book. You can pre-order it. The pre-order is $12.99. That's up until we get closer to the launch, and then we have to change that price for those that want
yeah,
to
because that ain't
be
no
able
money right there, man. Everybody
to
can go on there and 12. How much you said?
talk to me, man. $12.99, man.
$12.99. They pay more than that for them eyelashes they need to take off. So I mean,
Listen, man. I think we're gonna go in the eyelash business. They keep
there
on
you
playing.
go. There you go. There you go. Now let me stop being bad up here.
Yes, sir.
But I want to thank everybody for for the comments and everything. Sister Nikki, she says, where is the book sold? Go ahead and tell them where they can get the book at. If you would please.
So it'll be at Amazon as well. But if you guys can, follow us. It's author Elton Penn. Yeah, and you can wherever you want to go, you can find that, pull it up. You'll be okay. We'll have a landing page that's coming up. It should be done by this Friday. If you don't mind, Retro, I'm gonna be able to post this stuff on your website so people can be able to find
absolutely.
it. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. And I appreciate it. Hey, Q, what's going on?
They in here. Your peeps is in here, man.
You better stop playing. Hey,
Come
Q,
on now.
man, Q is our praise and worship leader, man, at the church. Man, Ryder, I appreciate you. Good to see
That's
you.
what's up, man. That's what's up. Okay, so we kind of danced around it. Talk to me. Tell me, what is intimacy? What is intimacy?
Connection,
Connection.
understanding,
Okay.
right? I think when we look at intimacy from that standpoint, I cannot have an intimate moment with somebody that I'm not connected to and that I don't understand. I don't. We can be physical all we want,
Uh-huh.
right. But at the end of the day, if there is no connection, and this is where people just have to be real. If we're gonna be real and raw,
Yeah.
there have been some people we've had physical connection with, and
Yeah.
still there's been no intimacy
So
at
they
all.
just knocking boots
We listen here, man. Like
and
you
ain't
slept
making
with
no
the person.
love.
Listen, man. You slept with the person they slept with, the person that they slept with, the person that they slept with. There's
Man,
none. Let's be real.
man.
Let's be real. So when we think of intimacy, again, it first starts with me,
Okay.
right? It first starts with me, right? I have to, and again, somebody said this to me, man, the other day, and I was so grateful for them because they were trying to challenge us, not even understanding. And Matthew chapter 22, around 39, right? That second commandment, that thou shalt love thy neighbor
Mm-hmm.
as thyself, right?
Yeah.
But if I don't love me, how can I begin to love you?
Right.
Yeah, if I'm not doing right by me, how can I do right by you?
So true. So
And
true.
and some of us, let's be real, some of
Mhm.
us treat people miserable.
Mhm. Because they miserable. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Real talk.
Misery loves company, and so a
You
lot of
bring
us
them
are one.
flowers and they say it's the wrong color.
Yeah,
You rub their feet and they say it's the wrong one. And I mean,
yeah.
but
And the crazy thing is that a lot of us wonder why people treat us this way because they treat themselves that way.
mm,
Right? Yeah, yeah, they can be messy with you. Yeah, they can do you like that because they do themselves like that. They're not loyal people.
okay, I got you.
Yeah, no, they're not patient with you because they're not patient people.
Right,
So
right.
sometimes we're expecting from people something that they don't even have the capacity to pour out or to even give us, right? How can you love me when you don't love
Wow.
yourself? There's no
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And that's where I'm at with it.
So
That's where
you're
we at.
expecting something from someone that doesn't have what you are expecting to actually give.
Come on, man.
And so you're going to constantly be bumping your head up against a wall, wondering why this thing ain't working out. Now, I want to, we're going to have to send Cross Soldiers a Twix, one of them little spinning fidgets, some kind of a prize, because they just dropping bombs on us tonight, man. Intimacy, into me, you see.
Yes, sir.
Into me, you see. So we allow, during intimacy, we allow them to see into us. And we become vulnerable. I never forget when me and my wife met, man. Again, we were young, but we were able to share stuff with each other that was intimate stuff. You know what I mean? And it actually was perfect timing for me because here I was, 15, young black, growing up in the hood, and trying to be this man, and I tell you this, man, love saved my life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so I fell in love with her, man. I fell in love with her, and it wasn't difficult for me to open up, and she never made me feel less of a man. She never made me feel, weird or this, that, or the other. She just seemingly was always willing to do what was necessary to understand, and to, and vice versa, and
Yeah.
so into me you see.
It's funny that you said that. So, my wife Kiana, I don't know if she's on. Hey, Kiana, if you're listening, man, responsibility still happens when we have these things going on. But one of the things that Kiana has added to my life, man, is I mean, when we talk about a cheerleader, when we talk about somebody having your back, when we talk about somebody that's like believing in your goals, man, and your
Hmm.
dreams, it's a great thing to be able to have.
Yeah.
Um, Even more so than that, I need to say that again, that you can have all that, but if you don't love yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, right, they're going to be, even with that person encouraging you, right,
Hmm.
that's what I want this book to do. I want somebody to look at this book and say, you know what, I'm not trying to fall in love anymore. I'm trying to show myself love, right?
Mm.
If he comes, if she comes, great. To God be the glory. But I'm not about to wait to go out to dinner for somebody to show me a good time. Nah, they're gonna have to join in with what I already have going on, because I'm going to build it, right?
Hmm.
If we want that, if we want to see that, I don't believe we experience that when the person comes. You experience that before they come, so they can share. As one of the things that I highlight in the book is that it's not two 50-50s. No, it's 100-100. Let's
Right,
go.
right, right. That
Let's go
part
on. Don't
right
bring me
there.
half. I'm not gonna bring you half. If you come whole,
Exactly.
I come whole. We can make it happen.
Yeah, that part right there. That part right there. So L. Davis is in the building. They said, "Love yourself."
Mm,
Amen. Love yourself,
that's good.
and that's real talk, man. And we should, my wife and I, we talk about this from time to time, and we were just talking about it very recently. Um, and there are couples, and hopefully nobody watching, but there are couples who are intimidated of each other. I mean, if my woman wins, I
Facts.
win.
Facts.
I mean, and so I don't understand that right there, man. Unless we go back to what you said, if you don't love yourself,
Come on, man.
then what I'm saying, you're gonna look at it as though it's a competition, or she trying to make you look like less than a man. Nah, it's just that she got up and she studied and she got a better degree, and you just trying to be a player. So
Listen,
and so I think we need to build each other.
Retro. The worst thing that anybody can do on this line is be with somebody that's not going nowhere.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
worst thing you can do is be with somebody that's not trying. It's one thing for it not to work out, but
yeah,
it's another thing for you not to try,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Because the reason why we get jealous, the reason why we get envious of other people is because you don't have anything going on yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we find spouse, we find boyfriend, girlfriend, we find individuals that are dating, like you said, that are in competition. If you get the car, I get the ride in, so what's the problem?
Come on now.
Right?
I
If you
could just
making money
lean
and you
back,
and you got the
lean
promotion
back.
and I ain't get the promotion, guess what? We both gonna be blessed. We're gonna go out to dinner together.
Yeah, we're gonna go get that surf and turf still.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm always, man, I'm always surprised at men that don't want the woman making more money than him. Girl, ball out,
ball
please.
out, ball
let's
out. Do it,
let's
girl.
get
Do
it.
it.
If you get it, I got it. We got it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
not. I'm telling you, man. This is such a great space, man, to be able to be able to be in, to be able to bless people with the truth. Because I
Hmm.
think a lot of times, man, we have to water it down for the church so to be age appropriate, and the mothers are not getting mad
But
and people are not intimidated by it. But I like that we have a platform and that we can come to where somebody can give the truth. Like, you know what, hell, it don't feel good being alone.
it
Be
don't.
honest.
Look at here, man.
Let's be real.
Man,
But
look
I
here,
want you
man.
to know it's better for you to be alone than to let that person in your life and they take whatever you have, including your peace.
Come on now. Take everything, including your peace.
Come
That ain't
on.
that. Nah. Take some cold showers. Speaking of that, speaking of
Yeah,
that,
take some towels, do something else, but don't take,
something,
man, what I've
but
worked years to get.
there's
Nah.
so much stuff that we want to dance around or not address when it comes to the church, but yet still they leave the church facility and they
Mm.
still dabbling in this, that, and the other. um, so why is sex such a taboo word in the church?
Uh, because I think, man, it is so true, man, that we sometimes we can uplift spirituality, right? But I think we miss the practical application of it, right? And what I mean by that is that, again, let's deal with the woman that's caught in adultery. Let's deal with her
Mm-hmm.
real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jesus didn't tell her, okay, because you messed up,
Mm-hmm.
you're not married no more.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't tell her that,
Right.
right? Even when she got caught, the man that you with, that ain't your husband. Go be with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Go be with him. Because a lot of times what we want to do is we want to send people the wrong message. The message that, you know what, if I worship, that'll heal everything. No, ma'am. If I just praise my way through, breakthrough will come. No, ma'am. That's not it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to work this thing. You got to work it out. If you got stuff going on in your life, yes, it's all right to worship. Yes, it's all right to pray. But you're going to have to get up off of your knees and still go to work to pay the bills.
Some stuff you just got to repent out of.
Come on, man.
I mean, you know, your worship is dynamic, but
It
it
is.
really ain't going too far because, you know, you got all that stuff going on, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just, man, I'm saying it's just
Yeah.
real talk.
Yeah, for me, Rich, and that's where this is the thing that I really want to speak to in this book, because somebody's gonna say, why should I buy Intimacy Beyond the Bedroom?
Okay.
Because again, I don't want to talk to you about sex.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can have sex with somebody if you want to. That's not what this book is about. That's not the nuggets I'm giving you. I'm giving the value of knowing you so much better that when the person asks you, do you want your back rubbed? Right? I want my back rub not because I want your physical touch. I want my back rub because that's a part of the connection that I have with you. Right?
Mhm.
It's not just walking together and holding hands, but when I'm holding your hands, it's symbolic that I'm in agreement with you. So when they see us together, they're not just seeing two people walking together, they're seeing two people walking together. You
Come on
understand
now.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That they see wherever, man, that as an individual, as a single person, you are whole already. Don't you let the world, don't you let life determine your value because you don't have anybody with you, please. And again, I want some people to be honest and say, I can be with somebody if I want to. I choose not to.
Yeah.
I choose not to.
Yeah.
I
They
want
said
you to walk away.
they said they eating good tonight, man. They eating
Man,
good
listen now.
tonight,
I
they
want you to
said.
walk away knowing that Intimacy Beyond the Bedroom is just that. You have to find another book to go to the bed. This ain't the one that's gonna get you in bed. This is the one that's gonna work out some principles in your life that's gonna say, you know what? Before I pass that number, man, listen here. I want to see your fruit first.
Hey,
Let's see what you're doing with your life.
let me back up and be real though, because you know sometimes we just want to get home from work and jump in that position and just do what
Yeah.
we think we so good at, and
Yeah.
sometimes you really ain't as good as what you think you good at because and she just like, oh gosh, because you have in other words, just I'm about to tell on my age now. Just because you boning don't mean that what I'm saying. There's real
Come on, sir.
intimacy taking place,
Man,
and,
come on.
and we got to be careful because we'll mess around and have our wives laying in our beds like there's some kind of cheap trick or something like that. But yet still we haven't touched them, and I'm not talking about we haven't physically touched them,
Yeah.
but we haven't emotionally touched
Yes,
them.
sir.
We haven't intimately touched them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, I'm sure you heard it before. Sometimes you gotta before you start trying to lift up that skirt, you gotta start saucing it up early in the morning. Send her a little text
on,
and
man.
and different things like that. Work up for it. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I had it together ever since day one. You know
That
what I'm
part.
saying? Because
appreciate
we
that.
go through phases and we learn. And
Yes,
we
sir.
learn,
Yes, sir. And the great thing even about what you said now, what you're talking about now, is like you said, that begins way before we close the door. That begins way before I lay you down. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about, man, and I'm hoping I don't think there's no kids on here. So we're talking about you feeling me before while we're at the dinner table, right? And the way I cut my steak, your mouth is watering, right? That's what we're. That's what I want. I want to talk to somebody that's real enough to be able to say, you know what, I loved my wife before we started making love. I loved my part. I love that mate, like that. And Retro, I just want to say I appreciate the platform, man, for us to be able to have an honest conversation. And I don't want anybody thinking that I'm against you or I'm not for you, but I believe again in wholeness. That's my belief. And I'm gonna keep that premise throughout this book. If you really want to be whole, get the book. If you want to be broken and find somebody broken and y'all get together and and make it on broken pieces, you do that. But there's gonna be some of us that's like, I don't want to go through none of that stuff. If I can avoid those lessons, let me take heed, now, while I have time to do it.
Your beautiful wife is on the line. She said, "You got to touch me before you can touch me."
Look at her trying to
Look
talk.
at her. Look at her.
Listen, and she
Look at
ain't preached the sermon yet.
up
Tell her
there
to
being
preach.
fresh, being fresh.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, man. And so let's talk about that. Hey, what's up? What's up to M1 Dolowski? He's in the building, y'all. Y'all give it up for my cuz right there.
Hey, hey,
He's
hey.
watching with us on tonight. She said, "Cut the steak, Penn. Cut
Mm.
the steak." Amen. And my wife, she chimed in. She said, we go through phases, and learn. Yeah, we've gone through phases. Look here, we've had some hard conversations
Yes, sir.
sometimes, because if your woman come to you or your husband come to you, and and he's bringing up a topic or she's bringing up a topic or an issue, it might make you uncomfortable,
Come
but you
on.
got to deal with it before it becomes an issue. I mean, it might hurt your little feelings or your little ego, or but sometimes those conversations are just necessary. You
Man,
know.
listen here. But I think, like I said, when we talk about intimacy, I want somebody to have the type of intimacy, and I'm just be open as well too. That again, my wife knows, like, again, she knows she's not the best cook. Let's just throw it out there, right?
Hmm.
But we can laugh and talk about, that was a little overcooked, there. And but guess what? I'm gonna still eat the meat.
Oh, definitely.
Right. There's times, even in this season of COVID, man. Let me just tell you, even me picking up weight, I can just tell the way she looked at me, like, "Oh, you going to the gym today?" And I hadn't been to the gym in over a year.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
on
yeah.
this day, she asked me, "Am I going to the
Yeah,
gym?"
yeah,
There's some
yeah,
things
yeah,
she don't
yeah.
have to. There's some things you don't even have to say to me
Uh-huh.
that you're saying to me, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and, and
yeah.
I feel like when we don't when we get to a place of intimacy where we don't have to take it personal when somebody is trying to correct us in love, and that's what I
Right,
want to talk
right,
about. It's in
right.
love. So me wanting to eat her food in love, right? I'm going to be honest, like, baby, that may need a little more salt on it. Okay, maybe we need to call your mom to make that gravy because this gravy ain't moving.
Yeah, yeah,
It could be
yeah,
something
yeah.
like
Oh man, the gravy ain't
it
moving.
could be like, hey,
Oh
baby, that
Lord.
shirt is. Oh, hey, mine. That shirt is a
Yeah,
little bit too tight. You need me to start getting your two X's. Now I
yeah,
know she's throwing subliminals, right?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
I'm gonna do
yeah,
the
yeah.
work that I need to do. I'm gonna do the work to make sure we keep the connection, right?
I think that's very important though, because if we're not careful, we can really make our spouses feel bad.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
because chances are they're already self-conscious in an
Mm.
area where they're not really good at, like, let's just use cooking for instance,
Hmm.
and she try to cook you a pot pie or a meatloaf or whatever, and you just come on and be like, "Oh man, this tastes like cardboard," the chicken tastes like wood,
Yeah.
and just hurt her little feelings. At least she tried,
Hmm.
and I think that sometimes we have to be conscious of that, and we have to go about it in a more delicate way, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. 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 Because I think when we consider somebody, when we're really connected to them, my job is not to hurt you.
Right,
There's no way. There's no way where if you truly love her, you'll demean her. There's no way.
right, right, right.
There's no way, man. There's no way if you truly love her, even when you're upset, you're careful about what you say because
Yeah,
you don't want to injure her to the point where it's beyond repair. You don't want
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
that was a learning lesson for me.
Hmm.
Somebody said something today. We were doing some marketing stuff, and somebody said he was the expert. I don't know if I have Precious or somebody on here, but somebody said he was the not the guru of intimacy or the expert of intimacy. The devil is a lie. No, I'm not. I'm not, brother. When I tell you I'm not, I'm still learning this thing. It's
Absolutely.
trial by fire. And I think the moment we stop learning, the moment we stop being teachable, then I think
Hmm.
that's when we lose our way. When you think you got it all together, like you said, you think you hitting all the wrong spots and in the wrong hole altogether.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's real talk for grown-ups. That ain't for
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Real talk, real talk, real talk. So intimacy beyond the bedroom, and so it's more than it's about more than just sex. It's about more than just hitting that spot or whatever. Uh,
Yes, sir.
but can you hit that spot?
Yes, sir.
And me and my wife, we had a conversation one time, and if we were never able to satisfy each other a certain way, how would that affect us? Hopefully that never
Mm,
happens. You know what I'm
mm.
saying?
Yes, sir.
But because suppose your wife gets sick. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Suppose she gets pregnant. She has a what do you call it? She's pregnant and she's got a, bedridden or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They put her on bed rest, I should say. And so you can't do, certain things. You know what I mean? Can you love each other
Yes, sir.
beyond just the
Yes, sir.
sexual
Yes, sir.
and physical attraction?
Yeah, that's what that beyond the bedroom comes into play,
There you
man.
go.
It is so vital. The Bible is true, man. People without a vision, they perish. And some people don't have a vision for, again, their love. They don't have a vision for their life. And so what they'll find themselves is just going with the motions. They're going from one to the next, one to the next, one to the next, with no vision. But where do you want to be? That's why we find people lowering their standards. We find people, they don't mind compromising, But when you go back to the drawing board, it's like, yeah, I want something beyond this. Like, yeah, don't lay me down and you can't lift me up.
Yeah, that's good right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. And I think that's exactly how you can grow apart from your spouse, because you're doing the act. Y'all having sex,
Mhm.
but
Absolutely.
there's no intimacy, and so it becomes a chore. And you mess around, man. That's nah, bro. That's
Listen, like, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's some people you may make love less, but that doesn't mean that intimacy should be less.
right, 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 right,
Right,
right.
right. The physical may go down, but that doesn't mean intimacy should, right? Because
Correct.
if I know me better, if I know me, and if I know you, I know again what means the most to you is you feeling that love that comes from me, and you being respected, you being uplifted, you being guarded, you being covered. That's going to mean more to you than a moment, and it's over in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, five, whatever your time is, whatever that
Yeah,
is, right?
yeah.
That's going to mean more to you. So I want people to be able to watch that again. That beyond the bedroom is so important. People are going to get it
Mhm,
because they think I'm talking about sex. People are going to get it because they think they know my life, my past, how I was.
mhm,
I was
mhm.
raggedy. I'm not. Listen here, man. I still got some raggedy stuff that's being worked out now. But guess what? I'm just sharing with people some of the struggles, some of the things that God has taken me through to be able to help somebody else. And in helping somebody else, man, I'm hoping, man, we see a lot more people that are not rushing into relationships that have to get out in 10 years because they married the wrong person.
Come on now, that can be very miserable. So
Yes,
they're quoting you tonight, man. Don't lay me down if you can't lift me up.
sir.
Yeah, don't lay me down if you can't lift me up. And that's powerful. That's
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
Let's see here. Considering the other partner is a part of intimacy,
Mhm.
and there's got to be a two-way street, and
Yeah,
it can't always be about her pleasing me, but sometimes, I've got to make sure I do what's necessary to please her. You understand what I'm saying,
absolutely.
and I think it's unhealthy when only one spouse is the one that's always, getting what they want.
Hmm.
Maybe tonight, even though your little thing hard, maybe you need to just, watch that little chick flick and just calm yourself down because she been wanting to watch The Notebook for how long, So just go ahead and, take a cold shower and
Yes,
sit
sir.
down there on that couch and watch
Yeah,
that favorite movie with her so she can feel special. And you understand what I'm saying?
yeah. There's a chapter in the book, man, called Finders Keepers, right?
Okay. Okay.
And this has everything to do with that partner. That Shelly is your wife, right?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Hey, Shelly. It has everything, man, to do with the partner, right? Some people, some women, some they will never ever open up because we don't do our research. We don't
Mm,
investigate. We don't do that trying to find out what pleases them because we automatically think because we the man, we got it going on. I know how to touch because the last
right.
woman I
Right. Right.
touched,
Right.
she
Right.
hollered, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like just because she hollered don't mean she gonna holler. Yeah, you're bad.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so
Right.
finders keepers has everything to do with, again, once you find it, you got to value it, man. Once they start to open up and to start to be very transparent with you, because
Mm-hmm.
again, here's one of the things that I learned that again, it's easy for us to sometimes show an emotion. It's
Mm-hmm.
harder to let you in to what I truly feel, right? It's one thing to tell you I'm mad, but it's another thing for me to do the work to be able to articulate what really made me mad.
Come on, that
Right.
part right there.
It
Yeah.
wasn't the fact that you burnt this food.
Right.
It's the
Right.
fact that
Right.
I came home and I expected my
Yeah.
dinner to be ready, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have, and so Finders Keepers has everything, man. I can't wait, Retro, for y'all to get this book, man,
Hey, look,
because
I'm
I think
coming to get my signed
yeah,
copy.
man, listen, because one of the most important things is that again, we'll stop revealing ourselves to people who didn't do the work to find us. right? It's one thing for me to run into you at the gas station, but I want to know, watch this, if I don't give you my number today, will you come back to the gas station looking for me again? Right? Finders Keeper says you want to know me. And not that you just want to do something with me, right? Finders Keeper says that you want to get into my head. It's not just you want me, but you understand that I got some kids. I got a kid. And again, I'm not going to put my kid aside just to go out on a date with you. You know what I mean? Finders Keeper says that it's willing to do the work, not only for those who are single, but those who are married. Finder Keeper said just because you got her doesn't mean that the search is over. No, sir. Nice. There's some stuff, man, that it's taken me years to be able to work through. That my wife and I, we're currently working on now. There's some things that we uncover about each other, weekly, daily. And as we're doing that, I think Finders Keeper says that just because you got in the door doesn't mean you stand in the house.
Come on now.
That's not it, man. I just let you in. I let you in, right?
Right.
But again, if we know company is coming over, we got to prepare. And here's what I'm trying to tell somebody: if you really want a relationship, you need to do the work. My grandmother is not letting anybody in the house if we didn't clean up that house. We have to prepare for company. And I'm here to tell somebody: intimacy beyond the bedroom is not knowing how to point them to the bedroom. It's letting somebody know I've done the work to be ready, and I'm not about to let somebody mess that up.
That part right there. Let's see. We got LaDonna watching with us tonight.
Hey, LaDonna.
My marriage is strong because of my marriage is strong because of our intimacy, not sex, and our friendship and our belief in our Lord. That's powerful.
I love it.
Amen.
To God be the glory.
So anything you want to close out with? Any nuggets or any viewers? You got anything you want to say? I thought we'd get a few phone calls, but it's all good. We got some participation in the comment section, so it's all good.
Yeah. We put the phone number in there for people to call in because I know there was somebody that was texting me now asking could they call in. You have?
Yeah, absolutely. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, 980-222-4492. That's the number that connects us together. Let me pull it up here so y'all can go ahead and call in if whoever was that was inquiring.
And just to leave off, like you said, I know, man, you have so much, to do, man. Like I said, I really appreciate you for even taking the time to be able to allow me the platform to be able, to talk. One of the things for me that, again, as we talk about with the book, this book, man, is not about, me trying to be the expert when it comes to intimacy. That's not it at all. That's not it. This book has everything to do with a person who started off in a place of the physical, now growing to the place of maturity where I understand it's bigger than physical, man. This is a mental battle, spiritual battle before it ever goes physical, right? We do not wrestle against flesh and blood. That's true. And again, I'm not trying to preach to people, but it's the truth. Sometimes, man, we're trying to do this physical thing and, obtain this physical place or arrive at it. But the true work, man, has to do. And I love what your wife said again. We gotta, in order for us to be ready, we gotta prepare. Yeah. We gotta prepare. And that work is finding out, why do you feel the way you feel? Why are you turned off? Are you able to express, are you able to affirm in public, or, are you the type of person that's real shy? What you need to prepare, because again, that person may be different than what you expect. But even more than that, if I have to leave, if I have to leave any nuggets, man, for this book, my hope and my goal for this book is for people to understand. And again, it'll be on the cover if you notice the man and the woman, that there are times, man, where it may look like we're apart. It may look like things are not right. But I'm here to tell you, if you do the necessary work individually, when you come together corporately, man, it'll be a blessing to your life. It'll be a blessing to your life. So intimacy beyond the bedroom, man, is bigger than the physical.
You still with us, man? Let's see. Okay. I thought we lost you.
Okay, I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal.
Yeah. So I want to make sure, again, as you get the book, remember, we pre-order on October 22nd. The release of the book will be on November 26th.
November 26th. Now, yes, I will be in what part of California you from?
Long Beach.
Long Beach. Okay, so I'm gonna be in your area shortly after Christmas.
Okay.
We're leaving the Carolinas the 26th of December. And we're gauging about 4 days travel time to get to the West Coast. And so I'm going to come and personally pick up my copy, and I want it signed. Yeah. So and so
I
we're gonna
appreciate you, man.
yeah, we're gonna break bread once we get down there, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good
So
times, man.
yes, sir. Absolutely, man. Let's see here. We got a few more comments. I'm so glad we did the work before the marriage. Love you. Amen. 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 And, sometimes it's just like, you're painting or you're doing any kind of work. A lot of times, the prep work can be so tedious, but it
Mm.
makes the cleanup a whole lot easier. I mean, sometimes you
Yes,
just
sir.
got to take the time to do the prep work,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because if you don't, it's going to show in the whole job.
Come on, man.
And so it is even in our marriages, man.
Yeah,
So we appreciate you for coming on today.
absolutely.
God bless you and your lovely wife. Thank God for all the viewers that came on and stuck with us throughout this conversation.
Yes,
And
sir.
we'll be back not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. We got another author that we're going to be interviewing. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled, and as we move forward.
Retro, if I can
Yes, sir.
just give a thank you to Brother Manny, his
Yes.
lovely wife, man, his kids. I just want to say thank you, Brother Manny, so much, man, for blessing us to United. And him, I thank God for that motorcycle ministry, man. Thank
Yeah.
them for coming to the church. Thank God for the takeover. They were able to come, and because of that, man, these relationships are birthing from that. And I just want to say, man, you guys continue to shine as lights, man. That motorcycle ministry is a blessing to many people. So I pray, man, that blessings on blessings for all of you guys.
They tatted up, they ride Harleys, they ride all kinds of motorcycles and everything, but they preach in Jesus. Come on,
Yes,
man,
sir.
what you say?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
that's
sir.
where I'm coming. I'm coming down here to hang out with United in Him and just have a good time in the Lord. It's been a blessing getting to know JJ and Manny, aka the ambassador, and the rest of the United in Him brothers.
Yes,
Also
sir.
want to give a shout out to all the other motorcycle ministries that was logged on today.
Mhm.
God bless you and thank you for your support. It's your boy Retro with a little retro philosophy. And check this out. We don't know everything. That's why sometimes we got to find a brother Penn. And, because though we made some mistakes, doesn't mean we can't learn from them. And
Mm.
anytime you learn from a mistake, it can no longer remain in the mistake column. It
Yes, sir.
becomes a learning experience.
Yes, sir.
And so,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Blessings.
So one last time, how can they get your book?
Again, it's author at author Elton Penn. You can find that on Instagram, Facebook. Follow us, man. And again, we'll have the landing page. You can just pull up Arthur Elton Penn, and it'll be fine.
All right. I guess that'll be it. We're not going to worry your patience any longer. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to see if I can turn off the lights and go, find the missus and maybe rubber feet or maybe rubber back or
Bless you, man.
or
Bless
maybe
you.
do some dishes. Maybe that might, because see, let me stop because sometimes we want what we want, but what they want can be something completely different that
Man,
can
you're about to
yield
go into a
us.
whole nother hour, man.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah,
you.
yeah. That can yield us the results that we need. I'm learning.
Facts, man. Facts.
Facts.
Absolutely. Blessings to you and your wife, man. All love and respect.
Yes, sir. God bless you. Hold tight. Don't you go nowhere, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks. We appreciate you for hanging out with us on tonight. I really do appreciate you guys. Every comment, every remark, and everything. We appreciate you. And we want to remind you that going forward, every Monday, you can tune in to the Retro Philosophy Show for a different interview with different individuals. Some may be from the biking world. Some may be esteemed authors and pastors and this, that, and the other. We believe in diversity. Come on, somebody. We believe in diversity because, the more people we can reach, the more we can learn, and I believe that's the way God intended it to be. All right, God bless you and heaven smile on you. Let me see if I can. We're gonna end it on this with something. Let's see here. You might know this one. Let me cue it up here. Yeah, where you at? Yes, sir. What they know about that? Little Teddy P. Come on now here. Make me want to drop an octave and go ahead and tell my baby, turn up. No, let me stop. Hey, look here, man. We love you with the love of God, y'all. And y'all be blessed in Jesus' name.